You made it. You're here. You took a pause, a breath, a break so you can keep moving on your Odyssey. Let's take another breath right here, right now to get back into the rhythm of life. Run, walk, crawl, dance, or even read with me. Because no matter how you move, you're still moving. And we all have an Odyssey we're living through. Every step you take shapes the story you're writing. So, respectfully, welcome to Odyssey, the podcast. Hello, everybody. I am Des, and welcome to Odessey Studios. Yes, let's give it up for branding. Let's give it up for branding, okay? What's up, y'all? It is our second episode doing this face-to-face thing on YouTube. So shout out to me for coming with consistency, because that's what I said I'm going to do. It is the very beginning of September, and it just feels like a breath of fresh air, might I say so myself. I cannot believe we are 7 months in to the year, and it's only a couple more months into the end of the year, but we are dipping into my favorite time of the year, which is fall. I thrive in the fall, okay? I feel like the fall is my new year. Okay, so this always happens where I just get this big burst of energy, maybe because it's not too hot and it's not too cold and it's just right, and I'm a Libra and I need balance. So anyways, so in this episode today, we are going to talk about controlling our emotions, okay? And I think this is such a beneficial thing to do when you know you have grown from the person that you were beforehand to the person that you are now, when you have the capability of controlling your emotions in any situation. And the affirmation that I want to propose along with today's conversation is, I am strong enough to control my emotions, because the Lord knows that you need some strength when it comes down to controlling your emotions. So let's say it together, guys. I am strong enough to control my emotions. Now, for context, I just came back from vacation, right? I've been gone for 2 weeks, and I worked. It's not vacation. Some of it was vacation, some of it wasn't, but I worked from back home. I went back home to Maryland, and then spent some time in DC. I mean, not my home, Maryland. Granted, I used to live in Maryland back in the day, but I meant to say I went back home to Virginia Beach, and I spent some time there with my mom and my sister, and just like the time that I needed with my family that I didn't know that I needed, that really jump started me to feeling how I feel today. So anyways, I was spent some time there, then spent some time in Maryland, DC. My son spent some time in DC, and I actually went on a solo trip while he spent some time with his father's side of the family. And from that solo trip, it just felt amazing. 10 out of 10 recommend anybody. It don't matter if you're a mom, if you're human, okay? If you are human, take a solo trip. I have not been on a solo trip since I think I went to Miami in maybe 2018 by myself. And I went to Miami by myself because I had went through a breakup, and I was just so sad, and I was like, I need to leave. Anyway, so I went on this solo trip in this Airbnb by myself. Just it just felt really good. Took myself out to breakfast, took myself out to lunch, walked around, kind of explored. I was in Silver Springs, not really much to explore, but I explored. Literally walked from my Airbnb to downtown, did a lot of that. And then the next day, I literally did nothing. I did absolutely nothing, which felt great, right? Oh shit. Sorry guys, I do want this to be a new thing. I know that probably caught y'all off guard because it caught me off guard, but I do want to time. I want to do the timer thing again. I think I just rambled on for about 5 minutes. So let's go ahead and just do another 15 minutes of the timer, and let's see how quick we can go. We're gonna make this real quick because you know our attention spans is only but this big, and I'm very aware of that. That's why my episodes are never going to be any longer than 30 minutes, if that. 20. Okay. All right. Wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. 15 minutes, and here we go. So yeah, back to what I was saying. I went on the solo trip Friday. I did absolutely nothing. Felt great to do absolutely nothing. The only time I got up was to get my DoorDash. For a second I felt some guilt, but I read a book. I binge watched Love is Blind UK, Lord. Yeah, so I just did nothing and it just felt great. But as I went down there, just to kind of describe the circumstances, and not to put too much of my business out, I went down there for the sake of my son so he can spend time with his dad's side of the family. I was within 30 minutes, 40 minutes, like, distance from him, but I knew he was in good hands. He was taken care of, but you know, I was just there. And I also, again, took advantage of the time to be like, hey, I'll go on a trip, and then we'll all fly back to Atlanta together, whatever. So I say all of that because the circumstances was just so different. It was a couple of moments where I could not respond and I could not react to how I really felt about certain things. And when you are somewhere by yourself or somewhere trying to enjoy your time, not have any stress, not have any worries, not have anything that's going to hold you down as you're on retreat, something like that's what it felt like. It felt like, I really felt like, I don't know if y'all remember the movie Double Platinum with Brandy and Diana Ross, and when Brandy and Diana Ross went into the cabins, or Diana Ross just would always go into the cabins to get her head right, to get her music together. Like, that's how I felt. Like, I was trying to get my head together like Diana Ross and Double Platinum. Love the movie. I need to watch it. It's probably on Tubi. But yeah, so I didn't want anything to get in the way of this feeling and this high that I was having, that I made it a point to not respond, not react, and to ultimately control my emotions when it came down to certain things that was being said to me, to certain ways that I was maybe being treated. And obviously this is not to say like don't let anybody talk to you however or treat you however, but it is really important for you to understand how you respond and how you react can essentially determine the outcome of something sometimes. Like, again, I am strong enough to control my emotions. Excuse me. Again, I am strong enough to control my emotions, right? If I have that much growth and maturity in myself to not get upset, to not yell, to not scream, to not get angry. Now, I don't scream like that, but if at all, unless you really push my buttons. But it's just really important to not react to certain things. And honestly, as I am on this journey of trying to understand myself and becoming the woman that I want to become, it has come across a lot of the things that I've watched and read and listened to as far as controlling your emotions, and especially as a woman. Controlling your emotions is just so imperative and so important to certain circumstances, because as women, we can get frantic, we can get anxious, we can get upset fairly quickly. But I think it says something when you can just sit there and allow that person or that thing or that situation to just allow themselves to make themselves look dumb, to make themselves look stupid. Because what's the saying as far as like, if you argue with a fool, you're just as a fool? Whatever it is. Y'all put it in the comments. I don't know what the saying is, but I feel like I'm on the brink of what it's supposed to be. Anyways, essentially, you will be the fool too. If you arguing with somebody, you too will be the fool, okay? So I don't want to argue. I don't want to argue. I don't need to argue, okay? And it has done so much better for me. Like I can feel just the weight lifted off of seeing how a situation can hit literally a dead end because I ain't entertain it. I ain't play into it. And it just was not worth it for me. Okay. And as now on this journey of getting back into my creativity and understanding that when I get into certain spaces of going back and forth with somebody or get into a space of being immature, that space of that bothers me to the point of where I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be creative. I don't want to work on the media kits. I don't want to, do the things that I need to do for the radio show. Because I just get so consumed in the negative of whatever back and forth was, or whoever pissed me off, or whoever made me mad that it didn't make any sense, blah, blah, blah. That shit not worth it. That shit not worth my creativity. That shit not worth my level up. That shit not worth my mental. That shit is not worth it. So I am strong enough to control my emotions. We have 8 minutes. So yeah, and even dipping into, like I said, when I get into those particular spaces with certain people or certain scenarios and certain things, it really throws a wrench in my creativity. And I also want my creatives who are out there who are listening to this, those who are entrepreneurs, business people, let's imagine what those top tier business women are doing. Do they allow the smart ass colleague who always has something to say to them under their breath or to be a smart aleck? Do they allow them to bother them? No. And let me tell you another thing. When a couple of months ago, I was at work and I had a meeting, an internal meeting, and I'm very comfortable in my job. I'm very comfortable with my people, but I think I got a little too comfortable that I let my emotions show. One of my coworkers who was a part of that meeting pulled me to the side and said, Des, I see the potential in you and I see where you can be these top directors of X, Y, and Z and doing these things and becoming a manager. He was like, but what I need you to do is to control your emotions. I'm going to be honest with you. I felt him. Because in that meeting, it was written all over my face. Again, it was an internal meeting. I got really comfortable. I work in a space where I can be me. But there's a certain level of being me in a certain space of being me that my emotions was just all over. And my attitude was all over. My reactions to things, very snappy within the meeting. And I appreciate my coworker for pulling me to the side. And he was like, look, my wife is X, Y, and Z at this company, and I watch her every day get in these meetings and hold her composure. She doesn't react to things. She controls her emotions. And he was like, but the moment that she gets out of these meetings, she is cussing. She is pissed. She is upset. He was like, but those people behind that camera on that Zoom call will never know because she has the ability to control her emotions. And he was like, Des, I am telling you this because I care, and you have to learn how to control your emotions. So even from that standpoint at work, and shout out to my coworker, love him to death. Love him. And just for him to even pull me to the side and say that, one, to tell me that he sees me being somewhere else, being in a higher position, and says that he knows that I work well, I have the potential, etc., etc. But the only thing he feels that will be holding me back is the fact that I have my emotions. And so even now that I think about it, I can be very snappy sometimes with my coworkers. I can be, a certain type of way just because I have to stand my ground in certain scenarios with them. And but I can let my emotions get the best of me sometimes, because after I send a text message or after I send an email, I begin to feel bad and be like, girl, you ain't really had to say it like that. You could have, you know, whatever. And I don't know how people perceive me. A lot of in my particular markets that I work in, some of the managers are like, yes, we need somebody like you who stands their ground, who doesn't take any shit, who doesn't do blah, blah, blah. And it has worked in the long run. But I do know in certain aspects, I do need to control my emotions on the work front, in the personal, on the personal end. And just working in everything as a human, as a woman who is trying to become the best person, as a human. But I'm just trying to be as best as I can be and live the best way that I can. I can't allow things to bother me like that anymore, and where it affects my day-to-day, where it affects my creativity, where it affects how I want to move forth. And where it affects my day. I'm also, I don't know if these two things go together. I am like a recovering codependent and a recovering people pleaser. And so if what I do isn't good enough for that person, it bothers me. And I get upset and it messes up my day. And again, I get in a slump and I do this. I'm not doing that shit no more. I don't want to. I don't have time, because like I said, the woman I'm trying to be, the wife that I'm trying to be, the mother that I'm trying to be, controls her emotions. So as we walk out of this episode, I just want you to say again, I am strong enough to control my emotions. I am strong enough to control my emotions. As you go into whatever environment that you go into, as you walk away from listening to this on your phone, on your computer, whatever the case may be, walk away and immediately say, I am strong enough to control my emotions, because you are. And with that comes like growth and maturity, and you're going to be so proud of yourself when you did not respond to something the way your old self did. Because I'm so proud of me for not responding the way that my old self used to respond, and it has saved me so much stress. Okay, anyways, let's do it one last time. I am strong enough to control my emotions. We have 2 minutes and 27 seconds. You guys know what to do. Follow me, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow me, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know if you a time when you had to control your emotions, or what are you learning from the fact of controlling your emotions. Like, that shit is just not worth it to me, and I just don't have the capacity to be worried about anything where it makes me upset. I'm just not allowing things to make me upset. And when it comes to that place of when things begin to make me upset, I literally repeat to myself, don't respond, don't react. Control your emotions. Control your emotions. So take that with you as you will in any space that you're in, relationship, work, whatever the case, whatever it is. I promise you, you're going to the next, your mindset is going to be in whole nother space if you can do that. Anyways, I am Des. This is Odessey Studios. This is a place where we use mantras and affirmations to get us through our day, get us through life woes. I have had depression, anxiety. I have a habit of reading self-help books. I love working on myself. I go to therapy. I do all of these things. So I feel like I'm very well equipped to even be here and bring these things to your attention, because I've been there, I've done that, and I'm still working on me, okay? Because I'm still a work in progress, and your Odyssey is your Odyssey, okay? So your journey is your journey, and however you get through it, whenever you get through it, it's all up to you and how you decide to go forth, okay? So make sure you guys subscribe, like, comment, send this video to your homegirl. Send this video to your homeboy. Send it to your man, okay? Send it to your girlfriend. Whatever you need to do to just send them nudge, little reminder. Control your emotions, okay? So I love you guys so much. This was Odessey Studios, our second episode. I am strong enough to control my emotions. Where we at on the timer? 20 seconds. Look at my baby. 20 seconds. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you come back. Okay. Hello. Right on time. All right, guys. See you later.